my name is JJ Walcott, and I am from Oviedo, so I'm not too far. And like most of you, 2016 kind of rocked my world, and I said we have to do something. So to the point that was being made, every one of us has to get involved in some capacity. And like Barbara said, if you're calling or you're working on the local committees or with the candidates, it's really, really great. What I do, what my specialty is I'm a scientist. And so when I watched all of this happen, I said, I've got to do something. And my skill set is in finding out what's going on, finding those root problems, and then figuring out how to solve them. So I went into the executive branch with the intention of trying to figure out, where does this money go? Why don't we see the programs that we keep getting promised? How in the world did this happen? How does this interact across all of the branches? Because it just didn't add up. You know how you kind of get that feeling like you hear people on TV talking, you're going, I don't think I believe them entirely. Whether it's the candidates or it's the media, we have that same feeling. And I went in and found that feeling is absolutely correct. The money is moving in places we don't realize. The chaos is bigger than we know. But if there's one thing I found on the inside is that we have tremendous executive branch workers. And what I learned was that we've got to have a voice for those folks. A lot of people don't realize we have 535 people in Congress, and we have 17 in the administration, and we have 2.5 million in the executive branch. There's a ton of work that is happening regardless, because we're all nonpartisan when we work in there. But we can't speak about it because we're ethically not allowed without permission. We were actually on 30-day committee reviews for one tweet within one of my departments. In the Department of Defense, I could tweet, and the Office of Personnel Management, I couldn't. So what I did during my time is, number one, I published a book, and this is through the government, so it's official, and it is free to everybody, and it's called Innovating Government, and we did a redesign of the executive branch, moving it from a hierarchical to a more facilitative body. And the second thing that we did is we published what is called Modernizing Learning, and it is essentially a national education strategy. And we did this through the Pentagon. And the reason for doing this was to say, one, we've got to fix the government, and then two, we've got to empower our people, but we have to change the entire education system to be able to do that. The next step then is to figure out how we bring all this information to our citizens so that we can work together. I like to say, it doesn't take an act of Congress to fix the country. It just takes a lot of dedicated Americans like you all to work together. But we have to understand how it works. So I think the presentation today was so spot on because we have lots of laws for crime. That's what we do in the legislative branch, right? And then we have folks like yourself, sir, and what we did in the executive branch, which was to build programs. And we need both, but our candidates are not often talking about, or at all talking about, those programs. They're talking about how to make laws. So, myself and I have a whole team around the country. Rob is one of my teammates. We have decided to launch a 50-state national tour. And we are going to go out and share this information. We're going to connect to Democrats. We're going to connect to programs, because you said it right, all politics is local. But at the same time, we need to connect, right? Our community to our state to our national. And we want to share that. In addition to that, we are looking to say we need a voice for Florida, and we need somebody at the table at the national level. The only job you can apply for is for president. So we have gone ahead and filed with the FEC. We're running an exploratory committee over the next 6 months. All 50 states sharing the information and to determine, can you build that name recognition coming out of the executive branch rather than coming out of the legislative branch? We need our lawmakers, but we also need people who understand these programs and understand how to work within those budgets and how to actually make changes.